Hello, 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 and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to a live Manchester United news, transfer news, and update show. I know I normally go live around 1:30, and we are live at 3:20. And that is, guys, because I am ill, so I'm going to do my best to power through this live stream to get into all of the news. But here goes, I actually caught a bug or something. You could probably tell in my voice, so I do apologise if I'm sniffly or coffee on stream, but there's quite a bit to talk about. 2 Man United exits are going to be confirmed this week, 2 loan deals. Hojlund is in bad form at Napoli, but he will not be coming back to Manchester United. Something just went. I thought someone knocked on my door there. Atletico confident of signing Dalot. Atletico to put in a bid for Dalot. We're going to talk about that story coming out. That was an interesting story. I can't see Dalot, going anywhere until summer. Updates on Man United's interested in Ndiaye. Why I think that would be some good business. The latest on Anderson, how the next manager of Man United could depend on if we get Anderson or not, and Champions League football. We're going to talk about chances of getting Champions League football. Obviously, reports have come out that Ineos are now concerned that if they don't do anything in January, it could cost us Champions League football, and they want to get Champions League football. We'll talk about some Onana nonsense that he wants Man United to pay him to leave, or some crap like, honestly, just leave your rubbish. And then the latest on managers, De Zerbi, Tuchel, the offers, what's going on there, and more. So big up everybody watching today's show. Look, Man United have won 2 games in a row. We've got Fulham on Sunday. I mean, it's a bit dead having 1 game a week, when there's Champions League this week and, there's Carabao Cups and FA Cups. It's a bit dead having 1 game a week. I feel like we barely play, but it's also quite nice because I guess the mood can extend until Sunday. If we played today and we lost, the mood's just bad again. Whereas I guess we get to enjoy the Arsenal victory for a full week, the City victory for a full week. I mean, they were 2 nice victories, but Fulham, as I've said many times, is a different kind of test. Alice, why are Arsenal fans still peed off after Sunday? They're just triggered because, it's a social media banter derby. They're just triggered that Ahmad said that they only score corners, which is true because Arsenal fans... The thing is, Arsenal fans have been banging on about the fact that set piece FC, corner FC, LA, and complaining at the fact that the 2 aren't the corners. But then when Ahmad says it, they're triggered. But it's like Ahmad's just saying what Arsenal fans have been saying, but when Ahmad says it, you're 10 times more triggered. But yeah, it's over for Alice and Ahmad when Arsenal win the league and United miss out on top 5. Do you know what? It'd be really funny if Arsenal bought the league and Man United get Champions League football. That'd be funny. Let's see what happens. But no, I do think Arsenal win the league. But I mean, there are Arsenal fans still triggered about it, saying they want Man United to lose every game now. And I'm like, right, okay, we'll just beat you at the Emirates. We're having a bit of fun. And then I've seen some Arsenal fans saying that Man United didn't deserve to win. I'm like, you scored an own goal and a jammy corner that just went over the line. How can you say Man United didn't deserve to win when we came to play football? You came to... I don't know. But I have to admit, I am loving the Arsenal outrage online. Alice, do you think it's acceptable for another for another professional footballer to attack another professional footballer? Well, how did Ahmad attack a professional footballer? What did Ahmad do? Ahmad just said, be humble. Your team's relying on corners to win games. How is Ahmad attacking an Arsenal player? If Ahmad came out and went, Odegaard, shit, yeah, how can you compare him to Bruno, like, crap player, yeah? If Ahmad came out and said that, I'm like, what a dickhead. Like, don't say that, Ahmad. Don't say that, Ahmad. Don't say that. That's what fans consider, not players. But Ahmad just went, your team was relying on corners, which is what Arsenal fans themselves were saying. So how can we say that Ahmad is attacking another footballer? Ahmad makes a statement. You were relying on corners to win the game. Ahmad's statement is true. Arsenal fans were even saying that. Now Arsenal fans are angry. Had Ahmad gone for Gabriel or Odegaard or was taking pop shots at your players, fair enough. But I don't think Ahmad did anything that was disrespectful. There's nothing wrong with Ahmad's banter. Gabriel, when you won and when you beat us 2 years ago, was taking a picture of him and Bruno and went blah 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 blah. So, if you give it out, you've got to take it. And Arsenal have given it out. Lewis Skelly in the Man City game. Arsenal have given it out. You've got to take it back. And look, Arsenal don't like to take it back. But anyway, enough of the winding up Arsenal fans, which is very fun. I do enjoy winding up Arsenal fans. Let's actually talk about what's going on at Man United. So, 2 departures to be confirmed this week. Toby Collier and Ethan Wheatley loan exits are considered done. Official announcements expected this week from representative new clubs. Harry Amas has joined, of course, Norwich City. Toby Collier is expected to join Hull, and Ethan Wheatley is expected to join Northampton. Toby Collier, I think, might have been announced by Hull already. Obviously, Toby Collier went on loan to West Brom, didn't get many minutes, had an injury. I think it's better that he's at Hull now. West Brom aren't having a good season. It's not the best team to be at right now. And of course, he was injured, Toby Collier. So hopefully he can stay fit and get some minutes for Hull City, because I think Championship loan's really good. I think Harry Amas has benefited a lot from a Championship loan. We saw how Ahmad a few years ago benefited from a Championship loan. We saw Alvaro do well on the Championship loan, then never played him, and now he's at Real Madrid. James Garner did well on the Championship loan. If you look at a lot of our best youth players, they've all done a Championship loan and done well. James Garner, Ahmad, Alvaro. So, I think Harry Amas is now doing well. So, yeah, I think Championship loan's good. I think Harry Amas is doing incredibly well. Toby Collier has not really hit the ground running, but he's had injury issues. So, I just hope that Toby Collier can stay fit. I'm just looking at the chat as well. Arsenal fans will find anything they can to complain about, like any other fan after a loss. Anyway, looking forward to no transfers in January. Sarcasm, and hoping injuries don't plague us from top 4. I love this comment. Yeah, right now, Arsenal fans will complain, but I mean, Gabriel, you could argue, was being disrespectful to Maguire at the full-time whistle. Arsenal fans can find what they want to complain about. But if I'm an Arsenal fan, I'm still 4 points clear at top of the league. If I'm an Arsenal fan, I'd be annoyed we'd lost to Man United. I'd say, you know what? They came to play football. We didn't. They deserved the 3 points. Fair enough. And I'd be frustrated that we could have been 9 points clear and now we're 4 points clear. But you're still 4 points clear. You're still probably going to win the league. So I don't understand why they're so salty. They're still probably going to win the league. They lost and they deserve to lose. Get on with it. You're still probably going to win the league. But yeah. And I also think, there's probably going to be no transfers. Look, I think all the transfer talk is about the summer. I don't expect anything to happen. I can't say nothing is going to happen because you never know. There's talk of United doing a late loan deal, Man United making a panic buy. But I don't think anything's going to happen in January. But we keep getting news that this might happen and that might happen. But it could just be PR to distract us. Big everyone in the chat. Alice, hope you feel better soon. It's not that horrible flu going around. I have no idea. I'm hoping it's just a cold. But honestly, I'm absolutely knackered with a headache. I'm just scrolling through the chat. Just a 4-point lead and nearly half a season to play, pressure getting to them. I think it's the pressure getting to Arsenal. That's the reaction. I still think they'll win the league, though. You have zero respect, Alice. You should be disappointed in my behaviour. Should I? What, for saying that Ahmad said nothing wrong? I've been respectful to Arsenal. They're top of the league. They'll probably win the league. I think they're the best team in the league. But they didn't play good football against Man United. It isn't an attractive brand of football. It's winning them games and fair play. I'd rather win games than not win games, but I'm just being honest. I don't think Arsenal are the most respectful side. I don't think Arsenal are good losers. I think they're bad losers. I think they're the best team, but I think when they lose, they are bad losers. And, I think a lot of that comes from Arteta. Look at the way that he responds. I think he blamed the ball when you got knocked out of cup competition last year when every team uses the same ball. I just think sometimes you just got to admit the team you played outplayed you. They deserve to win. You lost the game, and you just go on to the next. I think there's too many excuses going on at Arsenal. You had pretty much a full squad available. You had the highest net spend in the summer. You are top of the league. You have the best squad in the league. Man United beat you at your own ground. You lost at your own ground for the first time this season. You conceded 3 goals at home for the first time in 3 years. Give credit to Man United. Say, you know what, fair enough. Man United came to play football. They won. You're still 4 points clear. Get on with it. And look, it's your league to bowl. That's how I see it. Arsenal are one of the worst teams to score from open play. They bully keepers and score on set pieces. I think the set piece they scored from, I don't like the way they gathered around the Mons. I'm surprised they get away with that. Watching Arsenal fans cry is gold. It is. This is the thing, is I don't want City to win the league, but the Arsenal meltdown might make it worth it. Do you know what I mean? If they bottle another league. I hate us beefing with Arsenal. I wish them well, but they really round us up with that first game. We need no better motivation than that. Alice, Arsenal fans are going to be hate watching us versus Fulham. We've rattled them. I mean, that's crazy. They should be hate watching City and Villa, not us. Regarding players, honest thoughts, will we regret buying Sesko? I think we will play better without an untrue striker. Without a true striker. Sesko, only time will tell. I think, look, there were some really good signs from Sesko under Fletcher. I think that Sesko is one of those we're going to have to judge him next season. I don't know if Carrick rates him. But I think I think once we know who the permanent manager is in the summer and we see how Sesko does in his second season, I think that's how you rate him. Le Mans has improved us. I saw people giving Le Mans criticism, which I think is a bit odd. Le Mans has improved us. I don't know if Le Mans is going to be our stepping stone keeper or actually our long-term keeper. You know how Arsenal went from Leno to Ramsdale. Ramsdale improved him for 2 years, but David Wright took them to step up. Le Mans I'm happy with. Le Mans I'm impressed with. I don't know if he's going to be the guy that we need in 3 years, that we're like, this guy's immense, can't believe he was 15 million, what a bargain. Or we might be sitting here in 2 years going, Le Mans, he was better than Bayendir, he was better than Onana, but we need someone of high level. Le Mans is really young as well. Like in 3 years' time, Le Mans could be one of the best keepers in the world, and we could be saying this is some of the best bit of business we've done. Or we might say, okay, now time to upgrade on Le Mans. But I'm happy with Le Mans. I think he's had a good season. Our win rate with Le Mans compared to Bayendir is massive. Bayendir was at fault in that Arsenal game. Le Mans was fantastic. I'm happy with Le Mans. I'm happy with Mbeumo and Cunha. I think Mbeumo and Cunha were obvious hits, particularly Mbeumo. Sesko is the one with question marks on it, but he scored 3 goals in 2 games without Amorim and 2 goals in 21 games with Amorim. I think Sesko could depend on the manager and the way we play, and I don't know if Carrick's going to use him, but I think to know if Sesko's worth it, we won't know really until next season. But what I will say is Sesko's been better than Dalot, and Sesko's been better than Gyökeres, in my opinion. Our first choice was Dalot. Our second choice was Gyökeres. Our third choice was Sesko. I'm quite glad we ended up with Sesko. I think Ekitike would have been the best buy, but I'm quite glad we ended up with Sesko over Gyökeres and Dalot. I'm going to say that now. So I'm quite happy with Sesko in the sense of I can see a player there. I can see potential there. I think he's a bit weak. I'm not going to lie. And I don't want to come across, I don't like to be negative, but the one thing I don't like about Sesko is I feel like he's a bit of a crybaby. Like, it hurts. I've been hit with the ball in the face. It hurts. But sometimes you just got to get on with it, get back for that corner in that Arsenal game. He goes down quite easily, and it hurts. Don't get me wrong, I play football. I think my only concern about Sesko is he seems a little bit fragile. That would probably be my biggest concern with Sesko, is he seems a bit fragile, maybe a little bit mentally weaker. But I can see the potential in Sesko. I like the player, and I hope he succeeds. I think that he's better than Hojlund. I think he's better than Gyökeres. I think he's better than Dalot. For the most part, I'm absolutely fine with Sesko. To be honest, but it's only time will tell. We're going to get into the Dalot story because I realised we haven't got into that. Did Arteta blame the wind at the weekend? It wouldn't shock me if he did. I think Le Mans is solid. We've got Vitek in the Championship that could come in and give Le Mans some competition as well. I think Sesko will come good. Like, I'm quite happy with Sesko. I think he looks a little fragile and maybe a little low on confidence, but when he had his confidence, he was banging in the goals. And I think you're right. I think we need to keep backing him. I think next season will be a big tell around Sesko. I think next season who the next manager is, but he's so young. But let's get into the Dalot news. And let's get into Hojlund news quickly, because people were trying to tell us that Sesko was a downgrade from Hojlund. Like, come on, guys. Sesko, you cannot convince me Sesko was a downgrade from Hojlund. Hojlund has got 1 more goal than what Sesko this season or something like that. I just don't... Like, when I've watched Hojlund this season, he's had some good games for Napoli. He's had some good games in this Serie A. But when I watched Hojlund last season, and I've watched Sesko this season, for me, Sesko's better than Hojlund. Some people were trying to say, oh, well, Sesko's worse than Hojlund. I don't think he is. I think Sesko's better than Hojlund. I think Sesko has done... I think Hojlund would really struggle for us. And Hojlund is starting to struggle at Napoli. Everything is over between Man United and Hojlund. The club are already planning to reinvest that money in the transfer window. Hojlund goes to Napoli if they qualify for the next round of the UCL, or Hojlund goes to Napoli if they qualify for the UCL at the end of the season and they finish within the top 4 in Italy. That should happen, and that means we get 40 million for Hojlund. For me, I think Sesko's an upgrade on Hojlund. I think Hojlund would be struggling. I think, obviously, Hojlund played better under Ten Hag than struggled under Amorim. Fletcher came in. Sesko looked a lot better under Fletcher than Amarin. Maybe Amarin was holding the strikers back, you could argue. But we could see those inconsistencies with Hojlund at Napoli. He's had some good games, he's had some bad games. We can see those inconsistencies. Sesko also has inconsistencies. But I feel like selling Hojlund and bringing in Sesko will probably prove to be the right decision from United. There's talk that Hojlund might come back because he's not doing well at Napoli. Maybe Napoli won't buy him. But Romano's saying that's not the case. You know, it's basically over between Man United and Hojlund. Hojlund's preparing for a permanent move to Napoli. Man United are already looking at investing the money they're going to get from Hojlund in the window. I think that's it. Main thing is Rasmus a bit quicker than Sesko, but his form and confidence quite bad before he left. I agree. Sesko is definitely not a downgrade from Hojlund. I will say I wish we kept McTominay, but you just never know. But the thing with McTominay is, when we played McTominay under Ollie, we played him as a 6, and he was awful. In Ten Hag's final season, we actually played McTominay as a box-crashing 10, and he was really good in Ten Hag's last season. But I feel like we don't have, because we've got Bruno, it's hard to get Bruno and McTominay in that same size and maintain the balance. I think if McTominay had stayed, he probably would have been our number 9 over Hojlund last season, I'm not going to lie. I think he would have been our Marino-type player, like our number 9. I like McTominay. I think if he had stayed at United, he wouldn't be as good as how he's doing at Napoli. I think he's doing fantastic at Napoli. And I'm very happy for him. I think it's one that you can say maybe United regret selling, but at the same time, I don't think there was a... And McTominay's role at Napoli, I don't think he would have had at Man United, and I think Napoli have figured out how to get the best out of him, which is something that Ten Hag did figure out at times. Rasmus seems like a streaky player. He will go on a scoring run, then not score for a couple of months, and that was the problem. With Rasmus, there was those inconsistencies. What about Xerxes? I like Xerxes, but I think he will be gone. I think he'll be gone in the summer. I think there's a lot of potential in Xerxes, but I think Xerxes' chance of succeeding at Man United depend on which manager comes in and the players that he plays with. Because if you built a team around Xerxes and built in the kind of wingers that he'd work well with, I think Xerxes could do well. I think there's a lot of good technical ability in Xerxes. I think in a certain system he could thrive, but he's one of those players he needs to play in a certain system with certain players in a certain way to really thrive. But I think there's a good player in Xerxes. In regards to Hojlund, as mentioned, Fabrizio said that Napoli want him and they're pleased with him. So, yeah, Hojlund will go to Napoli. There was rumours he might come back. But there is obviously rumours that, he could come back because Napoli are in danger of not getting Champions League. So the obligation could go out the window. But Romano's basically saying, it's already over between Man United and Hojlund. There's a chance Napoli don't buy him if they don't get Champions League football and they decide he's rubbish. But he still will probably leave Man United. It just means we won't get that 40 million that we were guaranteed, which would be a bit of an L. Anyway, let's dive into the next story on Diogo Dalot. So, this came out via the One Football website. The Atletico Madrid are confident of signing Man United star who would welcome transfer via Football 365. It was said that Atletico Madrid are hoping to poach Man United fullback Diogo Dalot away from Old Trafford in the summer transfer window, according to reports. Atletico will submit a formal offer as soon as the summer transfer window opens, as they prepare to convince the Man United board to sell the Portugal international. Do you know what my honest thoughts are on Dalot? As a squad option, I like him. As a starting 11 player, he frustrates me. I think Dalot can play left back, right back. He's got a very good injury record. He's pretty solid all round, bar the fact that half our best chances seem to fall to him in the final third and he misses them. I think Dalot's a solid player. I think Dalot is a 6 out of 10 player. He's a solid player. He has his odd stinker of a game. He has his odd good game. I think he's a solid, average, decent player. I'm not bothered if we sell Dalot or not. I think Mazraoui will be the starting right back. Dalot will be covered at right back, can be covered at left back. He stays fit. Dalot, for me, isn't a starter at Man United. And if someone says we'll give you 30 million for Dalot, we're going to be like, okay, you know what, we'll take that. Because Mazraoui's better, Dorgu's better, Shaw's better. Man United might be like, yeah, we take that. If Man United sell Dalot, I'm not bothered. If Man United don't sell Dalot, I'm not bothered. Like, I don't mind Dalot. He frustrates me, and I know he's had some absolute stinkers lately. But I think it's a squad option. It's a good squad option to have with his availability. I just think if we're relying on him to start week in, week out, he's a liability. But look, I think Dalot at Atletico could be one to watch. They need to replace Llorente. Dalot might be open to a change of scenery. I think it's definitely one to watch. Atletico feel that they could maybe push Dalot into the move. They could submit a bid. I think United would consider that. I think the only thing that might put United off is we want to sign at least 2 midfielders in the summer, a left back and a left winger. Do we also want to sell Dalot and then have to go out and find a right back? I think Mazraoui's very good. I think Dalot's a good backup to Mazraoui. United might not see any issues with Dalot and Mazraoui being our right back options and Dalot having a good injury record, and they might say they'll keep him. Look, if we sell Dalot, fair enough. If we don't sell Dalot, good squad option. I mean, a lot of people I know would sell Dalot. You know, a lot of people saying they'd sell Dalot right away. He should go to Atletico. He's been frustrating. But yeah, I'm indifferent on Dalot. If we sell him, fair enough. We could do better. I think he's one of the weaker players in the squad. But if we keep him as a squad option, I'm not bothered. But I think with Dalot, there's time to cash in. And I think, as Alex kind of says here, there's a lot of times we've had players where we've had an opportunity to cash in on them, and then we've kept them for another year, and then their stocks have gone down massively or their contract is running out. It's like, Victor Lindelof left on a free. Could we have two years ago have sold Victor Lindelof and got 20 million rather than letting him run down his contract? If there's an opportunity to get 25, 30 million for Dalot, I think we should take it, to be honest. Dalot's just visually below every other player here. When he plays, no good reason to upgrade him. Just visually below every other player when he plays, no good reason to not upgrade him, in my view. I mean, Mazraoui's an upgrade on Dalot. Mazraoui's our starting right back. I'm very happy with Mazraoui being our starting right back next season. Dalot is our backup right back next season, I'm quite happy with, but we could do better. Oh, I got a super chat as well that I've missed. Have we already spent 40? So we already spent 40 mil on Hojlund, Nana 15 and Rash 30. No, we will get 40 million for Hojlund if Napoli qualify for the Champions League. We should get 26 million for Rashford. I don't know what's going to happen with Nana. I don't think anyone wants to pay for him. 30, 40 million for a backup player, you take it. I don't think we get any more than 30 million for Dalot. I think we probably get 25 million for Dalot, and I think you look at that. But yeah, look, if we get a good offer for Dalot, I'd absolutely accept it. But I'd absolutely accept a good offer for Dalot. Generally ask yourself, how many other Prem sides would Dalot start for? Well, he'd start for Liverpool, because actually, no, he wouldn't, because Frimpong's been good. But Conor Bradley's injured. I was saying Frimpong's played more on the wing lately, but he wouldn't start over Frimpong. He wouldn't start at Chelsea over Reece James. Would he start over Porro? I don't know. Porro's been pretty poor lately, but I think when Porro was good, he was better than Dalot when he was good. You could argue he'd start over Porro, just because Porro's been spamming crosses, but probably not. He wouldn't start over Timber. Would he start over Nunez at Man City? No. He'd start over Rico Lewis, but I don't know if he'd start over Nunez. He'd start at Wolves, yeah. Would he start at Forest? Yeah, true. Like, how many teams does Dalot start for? How many teams does Dalot start for? Like, does he start over Wan-Bissaka at West Ham? Yeah, you could argue. Like, he's not going to start at Brentford. They've got Kayode. He's not going to start at Palace. They have Munoz. Who's right back for Fulham? Is it Castagna? I don't know. There's not. Okay, to be fair, you've made a point. There's not many teams he starts for. He starts over Kyle Walker for Burnley. He starts for Burnley. He starts for Wolves. I don't even know who plays right back for Leeds. Okay, he doesn't start for that. Like, what I'm trying to say is, I love Mazraoui. Mazraoui, I'm very happy with being our right back long term. If Dalot's back up to that, I don't see an issue as Dalot as a backup option. I think he's solid. I don't think he's bad, but I don't think he's anything special. Dalot's a 6 out of 10 player. He's nothing special. He's nothing bad. He does not start for Brentford. Kayode is good at right back. He doesn't start for Villa. Matty Cash has been pretty good. His crossing's frustrating. I don't think Dalot's a bad player, but he's not like a good player. Yeah, I think if you get 25 million, now you really think about it. I think if you get 25 million, you take it. You take it for Dalot. I think other than his availability, his versatility, and what he offers as a squad option, he's not someone that improves the team, I guess. Yeah, the more I think, the more I'm like, maybe we should sell. Maybe we should sell, to be fair. Never thought of it like that. There's actually some good right-backs in the league, Like, I'm trying to think, who would he start for? Like, Burnley, Wolves, mate. Yeah, he doesn't start for many teams. He does not start for many teams. Anyway, continuing on, I want to talk about Ndiaye. Need more players like Bruno and Cunha. You say that as I'm talking about Ndiaye. Ndiaye's got a little bit of fat in him. Small space, technical player. I love Ndiaye. I said in August, Iliman Ndiaye, my ones to watch players in August. were actually, should I get my ones to watch players in August up? I actually think I've done quite well with these. This was at the beginning of the season, and Iliman Ndiaye was one of my ones to watch players. Oh, thank you for the super chat. If Newcastle don't get Europe, I try and get Livramento to place Dalot. Livramento is too injury prone for me. I like him, good player, too injury prone. If I was going to get a Newcastle fullback, I'd get Lewis Hall to be our long-term left back. But Lewis Hall is a Newcastle fan through and through. I think he would be a lot harder to get than Livramento. I like Livramento. If he was guaranteed to stay fit, I would try for it. But the fullback I'd really want is Lewis Hall as a long-term sure replacement. But Lewis Hall loves Newcastle. Like, he's a proper Newcastle boy. So I don't think we'd get Lewis Hall. But yeah, I was talking of Ndiaye. If you know me, I've liked Ndiaye for a while. This in September was my predictions of who was going to have a big season. Minter's been good. Elliot Anderson's been good. Soboslai's been good. Sars, he was good, and then Thomas Frank stopped playing him. Kudus was good, then got injured. Van Heck's been good. Oscar Bob's flopped. Ndiaye's been fantastic. João Pedro's been pretty good. And then I've gone Camara and Calafiore if they stay fit. Other than Sarr and Oscar Bob, that's pretty much dubs there. And then here, these are the players I think are going to have big seasons. Yoro, L. Minter, yes. Doku, yes. Rio, when he's got minutes, he's been very impressive, but very young. Ndiaye, yes. Doggy's been injured. Dorgu, technically, yes, but now he's injured. But these are a lot of my players that I thought were going to have good seasons. So if you know me, I've been looking at Ndiaye for a while. I said that Tottenham should go for him, to be honest. But obviously, if you know me, I'm a big fan of Ndiaye. I think I always knew he was going to have a good season. He's a very good small space player. The only question is he like a winger? He's more of a winger that likes to come on the inside. I wouldn't say he's a touchline winger. He's more of a technical small space winger. Do Man United want a more direct touchline winger? That's what you could argue with which Yan Diamonde would offer. Dalot cannot be sold while trying to push top 4. 100%. It's a summer thing. Do you know what? I've not watched much of Feyenoord, but I have heard lots of good things about Reed. I've read a lot of good things about him. Ndiaye isn't happening right now. We need midfielders, fullbacks, and centre back. Yeah, when I'm talking about Ndiaye, by the way, I'm talking about the summer. I'm talking about the summer when I'm talking about Ndiaye. Ndiaye has a growing number of admirers within Man United. His style of play and overall profile is viewed as a strong fit. Look, Ndiaye and Mbumo, Cunha, Ahmad, Sesko, Bruno. That's lovely. That's lovely attacking options. I'm not the biggest fan of Yan Diamonde because I think the Prem is too big of a step up for him. I think Ndiaye's mint. My only worry with Ndiaye is he's not someone that necessarily wants to hold the touchline. He's more of a small space player, and we've got that in Cunha. I like Ndiaye, but I personally bring Barcola. I feel like Barcola might be an unpopular opinion. He has that Garnacho gene. That's what's happened here? Oh, my laptop's come uncharged. Anyway, that was weird. Why is that happening? Can you hear that? My laptop keeps plugged. I don't know. My laptop charge probably keeps being weird. Okay, this might be an unpopular opinion. Barcola, sometimes I watch him and I'm like, what a talent. There's so much potential there. I think he's mint. And then other times I watch Barcola and he's not good. Like, he's got a little, I don't know. It's like sometimes we'd watch Garnacho and we're like, oh, he's direct, he does this, he does that. Like, and then other times we watch Garnacho and go, what's he bring? And I'm not saying that, you know, he's obviously better than Garnacho. I'm not saying that Barcola is worse, is Garnacho level. He's obviously better than Garnacho. I like Barcola. But sometimes I watch him and I'm just not sure. Like, sometimes I watch him and I'm not sure. Like, maybe that's an unpopular opinion. But, like, Kvaratskhelia I like more. And I know he hasn't had the best season. We've got Lacey as an option as well for the future. I feel like Garnacho gene is a really insulting thing to say to a player. It's insulting. I think Barcola will be offended by that. But I just don't know how Barcola does in the Prem. Like Barcola and Nico Williams, I just don't rate them as much as the internet. Like, when I've watched Barcola and Nico Williams, I just don't rate them as much as the internet, to be honest. I'd rather go for someone like Ndiaye that we know is pretty mint in the Prem, to be honest. Garnacho gene, does he have dodgy tattoos or something? I mean, I'm pretty sure he has a few, but, I mean, Garnacho's going Garnacho had some of the worst tattoos I'd seen on a footballer. I'm not one to talk about what a footballer wears or what they do with their hair or anything, but he's left the club now. So Garnacho's tattoos were dreadful, weren't they? I mean, didn't he have like Stranger Things on him? Nico Williams' PR team deserves a praise. He literally just got a bit of Euros hype. Like I've never seen the Nico. Like I saw the Nico Williams hype during the Euros. Watched him again last season. Was like, oh, he's average. Nico Williams hype, Barcola hype. Yeah. Yeah, I think Ndiaye I like. Ndiaye is my pick for left wing because Semenyo is gone. My only fear with Ndiaye is he's a small space player. He's really technically good, and we've got a lot of that. I feel like we need someone that's going to hold down that left wing. That's my only worry with Ndiaye. It has been said by Nathan Salt that Elliot Anderson is Man United's top priority, but he's also Man City's top priority. The permanent head coach of both clubs is understood to be a major factor. Pep could leave City, so it might depend who City bring in and who United bring in the summer as the next manager, because Pep's expected to leave City. Andy Mitten said when asked if he thinks Man United will make any signings in January, Andy Mitten, a very credible journalist, said, "I'd be very surprised if anybody came in for several reasons. Money is tight and they don't have a huge number of games. I can't see Man United doing anything unless one of their main summer targets becomes available." So Andy Mitten is saying unless a summer target comes available, he can't see us doing anything because we haven't got many games between now and the end of the season, so he'd be surprised. Andy Mitten also was asked about permanent managers like Tuchel and Enrique Nagelsmann, and he said the biggest names in the world are going to be linked to Manchester United, but as we speak at the end of January, there's nothing ongoing, which is fair. United aren't going to do anything till like April realistically. Just give me Yildiz and Nathaniel Brown, and we're set for 5-6 years. I like both those names, good options. Just looking at the chat as well. How can it be so tight now, but we're planning to spend 300 million in the summer? Man United's reasoning is we can't get Baleba now, we can't get Anderson now, we can't get Ndiaye now. We want those three players. So rather than buying someone we don't like as much and that impacting our budget in the summer, let's not get anyone now so we can spend more in the summer, I think is United's mindset, which I'm not totally against, but I think when there's an opportunity to get top four and we desperately need a midfielder, I think we're going to need three midfielders. Why don't we get Anderson and Baleba in the summer, but go for a João Gomez now, for example. Anyway, Andy Mitten spoke about De Zerbi. He said that obviously United looked at De Zerbi in 2024, but De Zerbi wanted more money. That was also said by Andy Mitten. And it was said by Chris Wheeler that Onana wants a payoff from Man United if he's to leave. Man United might have to pay off Onana to leave the club. Yeah, that sucks. But anyway, people, that is your Manchester United news, transfer news, and update roundup. My voice is going, so I'm going to have to round up the show before I have a coughing fit. Look, I'll have a 10-minute video out tonight. I do apologise, I'm dead at the moment. But thank you for watching today's stream. I'm sorry I waffled for the first 10 minutes of the stream and took ages to get into the actual show. But big up everybody. See you next time. Bye.